This morning, Shoujo showed Mushin the orchid on the altar and said, "I was surprised. Wonderful, wonderful expression. Surprised. That's being awakened by the blooming flower." Of course, then he added on, "Well, I wasn't expecting it." That's where we can get in trouble. Expecting and not expecting, believing what's going to happen and what's not going to happen. When Dogen Zenji says, forgetting the self, that's what he's talking about, forgetting holding on to our ideas. Then we can be awakened as this universe reveals our life, the life of the universe. An important part of our practice is knowing what's ours to do and what's not ours to do. Whether when you're sitting, knowing what's where, how your effort is called for, and yet there's no effort. It's non-thinking, sitting upright. You don't have to direct anything, and yet if we're caught up in thoughts, reactions, then there is an effort needed unless we can let it go just as is, or else we need to notice where, how we're holding so that we can, for a moment, open up, if I say it in that way, or note it and then open to this experiencing. But experiencing isn't ours to do. We don't create it. And yet we have to do. So we have the Bodhisattva vows that remind us beings are numberless. And yet I vow to liberate, awaken, free them all from the delusions that create suffering and harming. How do we do that? How could we do that? Desires, delusions are inexhaustible. And yet, put an end to them. So, in a way, our practice, yes, make sure you put in the right amount of water to the orchid. Not too much, otherwise our trying to rush the orchid along doesn't work. Not too little. But if you try to open the blossom, nothing happens. You just kill it. So our practice is watering when needed and yet being surprised, being open to experiencing this life moment that is our life. Don't have to do anything to create your experiencing. I shouldn't even say you're experiencing. So when we sit Zazen or when we practice in daily life, the universe supports and nurtures and reveals, and yet gives us also the opportunity to see what is ours to do, whether it's in terms of noticing where we're getting caught, where we're holding on, or even more effort in order to release the holding on, the attachment, the judgment about them, or beliefs about what she should and he could have. So Joko encourages us to notice where we're holding to thought, emotions. Sometimes you use an effort of saying holding to, but not because you need to keep track of that, but so that that allows us to forget. That's the studying self, to forget self in order to be awakened. And yet we have to study self. Beings are numberless. I vow to liberate. Desires, delusions, inexhaustible. And yet we can't be blinded by that from saying, my practice is to be this experiencing moment. Desires, delusions all disappear. Being awakened by the Dharma, the Dharma's revealing in this moment experiencing. And it's always our particular effort that's called for. So I want to bring up a case, and that'll be something for us to reflect on so that next week I can speak about it a little more. This is case 20 of the Shoyoroku, or Book of Equanimity, sometimes called Book of Serenity. This case is with Dizang and Faiyan. Dizang, Faiyan are the Chinese ways of pronouncing their name. Jizo and Hogen are the Japanese ways. So Jizo, or Dizang, asks Faiyan, where are you going? Faiyan responds, wandering on, going around on pilgrimage. Wandering around on pilgrimage, that's our life. Wandering around on pilgrimage. What is the purpose of pilgrimage? Faiyan says, I don't know. Dizang replies, not knowing is most intimate. Faiyan, Hogen has great awakening at that. Not knowing, most intimate. Thank you.